Following a difficult breakup, Momo Ayase finds herself stepping in to defend a socially isolated classmate from bullies. After class, an argument sparks between them over an occult magazine. Momo believes in supernatural beings, while the student is convinced of extraterrestrial life. To settle their disagreement, they dare each other to prove their beliefs. Momo heads to an abandoned hospital to summon a UFO, while the student ventures into a secluded tunnel to encounter a spirit. Their beliefs are soon confirmed in unexpected ways. Momo is abducted by aliens called the Serpo, who seek to experiment by mating with her, while the student becomes possessed by a mischievous spirit called Turbo Granny, who makes a bizarre demand for his banana. Turbo Granny and the student manage to reach Momo by entering the alien ship through her dropped cell phone. Momo recalls her grandmother's teachings and harnesses newfound psychokinetic powers. Together, they defeat the Serpo and bring the UFO crashing back to Earth. In the aftermath, the student discloses his real name, Ken Takakura, coincidentally sharing the name of an actor Momo greatly admires. Momo and Ken, whom she starts calling Okarun, head to Momo's grandmother's house to rest, while Momo keeps Okarun's curse under control. However, their brief respite is interrupted when a monstrous being resembling a sumo wrestler traps them within the property. Initially mistaking it for an evil spirit, they soon uncover that the creature is actually the Flatwoods monster. To confront it, Okarun insists that Momo release her powers, holding back the curse, resulting in him shifting into a demonic form that strikes a balance between himself and Turbo Granny. Even with their combined strength, they fail to inflict significant damage on the monster, which leaves Okarun injured. In a last-ditch effort, Momo baits the monster toward the torii gate on the property. She lets herself be struck by the creature, propelling her beyond the gate's boundary. Taking advantage of this, Momo grabs Okarun and places a talisman at the gate that repels spirits, causing the monster to burn as the trap breaks. Although they achieve victory, Momo collapses from exhaustion. With her powers no longer holding the curse at bay, Turbo Granny takes full possession of Okarun. Seiko, Momo's grandmother, arrives home just in time to subdue the possessed Okarun. When Momo regains consciousness, she anxiously asks Seiko about Okarun's condition. Seiko gestures toward the shrine on the property, where Okarun is being safeguarded. Momo explains Okarun's predicament and reveals her newfound psychokinetic abilities. Seiko elaborates on Turbo Granny's origins, revealing that she had merged with a more formidable, location-bound spirit from the tunnel. Although Seiko warns Momo against confronting the spirit, Momo's determination to help Okarun doesn't waver. Seeing her resolve, Seiko decides they need to prepare, arranging for both Momo and Okarun to train the following day. She also informs them that Turbo Granny's power is weaker in the outskirts of the city. Later, Turbo Granny manifests and threatens Momo, declaring that they must face her in the tunnel or risk Okarun's curse being used to harm others. With no alternatives, Seiko bestows protective clothing on Momo and Okarun, blessing them before they set out for the tunnel to confront Turbo Granny once and for all. Upon reaching the tunnel, Momo and Okarun devise a plan to lure Turbo Granny to the city outskirts to defeat her. However, they quickly find themselves cornered by Turbo Granny, who removes Okarun's curse. Recalling Seiko's advice that Turbo Granny never backs down from a challenge, Momo provokes her into a game of tag, buying enough time for her and Okarun to capture Turbo Granny and reclaim Okarun's curse. Despite Okarun using his demonic form to race away, their attempt to escape the tunnel and its possessed spirits is unsuccessful. Momo takes advantage of Turbo Granny's infamous reputation as the 100-kilo Granny by leading her onto a fast-moving train that passes beyond the city outskirts. With Seiko's assistance, Momo and Okarun manage to defeat Turbo Granny and presumably lift Okarun's curse. They later return to the tunnel to honor the spirits, after discovering that Turbo Granny had originally sought to bring solace to the spirits of girls who had suffered from sexual assault and met tragic ends. Before parting, Momo tells Okarun that she looks forward to seeing him the next day, bringing him great joy. As Momo and Okarun start to grow closer at school, a misunderstanding arises when Momo's friends mistake them for a couple, leading to a quarrel. Okarun later heads to the bathroom, where he makes an alarming discovery. He rushes to Momo's classroom to speak with her, but is dismissed. After school, Okarun accidentally collides with a fellow student and politely apologizes. The student acts friendly but mocks him once out of earshot, which Momo overhears. Enraged, she uses her powers to injure the student. Okarun then shares with Momo that, although he recovered his banana, his balls are now missing. They decide to seek Seiko for help. Seiko performs a ritual on Okarun, allowing Momo to extract a spirit that ends up possessing a nearby Maneki Neko doll. The doll is revealed to house Turbo Granny's consciousness, who explains that she once possessed Okarun before being defeated. Okarun demonstrates a new demonic form, and Seiko clarifies that only the remnants of Turbo Granny's spiritual powers remain in him. When questioned, Turbo Granny admits she doesn't know where Okarun's balls are. Turbo Granny explains that Okarun's now golden balls are infused with her aura, making them attract spirits. At school, Ira Shiratori, a student who previously teased Okarun, mentions seeing Momo's powers and reveals a golden ball she picked up after Momo and Okarun's battle with Turbo Granny. Turbo Granny notices this and alerts Momo and Okarun, realizing that Ira has awakened her spiritual abilities. Ira approaches Momo to talk, but ends up bullying her. Okarun and Turbo Granny hurry to help Momo, with Okarun pointing out that Ira is a target as a mysterious figure in a red dress appears, claiming to be Ira's mother, and captures her. Okarun and Momo fight the entity, but Okarun is swallowed by it. Turbo Granny identifies the figure as a spirit named Acrobatic Silky. When Ira calls the spirit a monster, it consumes her too, followed by Momo. However, Momo manages to ignite Acrobatic Silky's hair with Ira's cross lighter, causing the spirit to burn and release all three of them. Momo and Okarun manage to distract Acrobatic Silky long enough to defeat her and recover Okarun's Kintama from Ira. However, they realize that Ira, being an ordinary human, couldn't handle the spirit's power and has died as a result. In response, Acrobatic Silky offers to revive Ira by transferring her aura to her. Momo connects their auras, gaining insight into Acrobatic Silky's tragic past. It is revealed that Acrobatic Silky was once a single mother who worked tirelessly, including resorting to prostitution, to provide for her daughter and pay off a heavy debt. One day, loan sharks broke into her home, assaulted her, and kidnapped her daughter, leaving her devastated. Unable to cope with the loss, she took her own life. Her spirit wandered aimlessly until she encountered a young Ira who was grieving her own mother's death and mistakenly identified the spirit as her mother. Touched by Ira's pain, the spirit resolved to protect her, eventually transforming into Acrobatic Silky. Ira is brought back to life, and Momo, moved by what she has seen, breaks down in tears. As Acrobatic Silky fades away, she expresses regret for being unable to overcome her trauma. Before she disappears, Ira embraces her, offering comfort and praying that she may find peace, while vowing to keep her memory alive. Although Momo and Okarun save Ira, she stubbornly insists that Momo is a demon and vows to free Okarun from her supposed influence, much to Momo's irritation. Meanwhile, Turbo Granny helps reattach Okarun's Kintama to his body. At school, Momo becomes uneasy when Okarun decides to distance himself from her. Her discomfort intensifies when she later finds Okarun pinned beneath Ira. Earlier, Okarun had split off from Momo to exercise and was approached by Ira. During their interaction, Ira awkwardly confessed her feelings for him, leading to an argument. In the scuffle, Ira accidentally tripped Okarun, resulting in the compromising position that Momo stumbled upon. Okarun tries to explain the misunderstanding, but Momo, consumed by jealousy, refuses to listen. As the day progresses, Okarun notices something amiss. The school begins to flood, and his classmates vanish. He eventually reunites with Ira, deducing that they are trapped in a dimension similar to the one he encountered during his battle with the Flatwoods monster. Meanwhile, Momo is on her own, evading an alien resembling a plesiosaur. Elsewhere, Okarun and Ira are confronted by a mantis, shrimp-like alien. the Serpoians make a dramatic return, capturing Okarun and incapacitating Ira. Just as the Serpoians prepare to experiment on Okarun, Era awakens acrobatic Silky's powers within her and successfully intervenes, preventing them from causing further harm.